Hello and welcome back to Facebook Ads Mastery. I'm your instructor Andrew Tapin. Now we're going to take a look at measuring our results. Even though this is coming after finding our audience, building our ads, letting them run, building retargeting ads, you actually want to kind of keep an eye on this throughout your active campaigns. That way you're able to measure which of your campaigns and ads are effective and which ones are not. You're obviously going to want to kill the ones that aren't doing well and possibly increase the ad spend on the ones that are doing well. And so this is going to be how you gauge that. So we're in Ads Manager. This is kind of a big broad overview of your campaigns, whether they're active or not, and some what I kind of call generic results. They're showing you your post engagements, your website clicks, what your per post engagement and website click costs are, how much reach they got, how much you've spent. So all important information you need to look at, but to get a better idea of the effectiveness of those campaigns and whether they're doing well or not and your interests are correct, you actually need to dig a little deeper. So when you actually click on one of your campaigns and come into your campaign summary, it's going to look like this. You can see here, doing split testing between mobile and desktop, seeing what's working better. I'm going to click on this mobile ad, and we're going to look at some of the results of it. So you can see at 8 cents per website click, which I like, is very good. Click-through rate fairly decent. But what I like to look at is over here on the far right, and you'll notice you actually have to scroll over to see that. So it's labeled Optimized CPM. That's how much it's costing you per 1,000 impressions or views on Facebook. Facebook terms a little different than what say Google AdWords does. 1,000 in Facebook is actually literally 1,000 sets of eyes seeing your ad, as opposed to it floating around and then possibly seeing it or not. They've kind of changed the way they view that, and so if I'm around $5 per 1,000, I'm happy with that. That means my ad costs are not going to be too extreme. That tells me I've potentially got my interests for an ad that haven't been overly presented to, or they're not an expensive set of interests to send ads to. What you see here, the relevance score of 9 out of 10, that's very good. That means Facebook is telling you that your ad is actually relevant to the audience you're sending it to. So don't rely on this broad overview to tell you the total picture of whether your ad is doing well or not. Just because you maybe see a low or high number here doesn't necessarily mean that it's good or bad. So we want to dig a little deeper into our results and see what our actual costs are. And here's an example of a different offer I was putting out there that didn't do very well. And I actually killed the ad because I could tell obviously I did not have the right interests for this type of ad. My click-through rate was really low. Obviously Facebook's relevance score was telling me that I was pretty off on my targeting, which for this specific campaign, I don't think I was 100% off. I feel like possibly these interests just had seen this type of product and weren't very interested in it any longer. And as such, you can actually see my cost per 1,000 views or impressions was double of what I just showed you. That could be a couple things. Most likely it's a more expensive audience to reach, meaning there's a lot more marketers out there trying to get their ads in front of these type of people, as opposed to the people I was presenting this ad to. There's probably not as many marketers trying to reach this audience, so it was costing me less. That's just the way any ad program runs. If it's a popular audience that a lot of people are trying to run ads to, it's going to cost you more. That's why drilling down in audience insights is so important, to try to find some interests that people haven't discovered or marketed to before, to try to keep your ad costs down. Because the lower your ad costs are, then obviously the higher your return on investment is, as long as you're gathering leads, selling products, that sort of thing. So that's why it's very important to measure your results during and after campaigns, so you can learn from them, improve on them in future ads and campaigns that you run, to be much more efficient and effective. So I definitely urge you to keep an eye on that after you start running ads. That way you can limit your losses, increase your returns, and definitely make the most of your Facebook ad marketing. So as always, feel free to ask me any questions about how to measure results. If you're not sure what some of these mean and how they're determined, hit me up with a question. I'm here to help as always. And best of luck, and we'll see you in the next lesson. Take care.